So now that we got to the end of the whole the whole game, um, I like to talk about this main con of mine, this main negative about the game for me. It's like the number one thing. It's um, it's the backtracking timeline. Like I think, um, I love the game. I love the story. I love the game. I love everything about it. But the whole backtracking kind of just juggling timelines was really confusing. Especially the Abby part, because I could handle the first part of Ellie, and then we went to Abby as a kid. I'm like, okay, cool, cool, and then we got to Abby, I guess present day Abby, and then we went 4 years back, about this aquarium with Owen, and then apparently 4 months earlier, and I'm like, okay, and then and then we come back to day two Seattle, and I was confused, I was lost, and I think that's it. I think that was probably the only main negative I have on the game is just juggling a lot of the timeline backtracking, which for me, I don't prefer it. I just prefer um just linear. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys had any trouble with the backtracking, but for me it was
Um,
really it was tiresome. Like I could juggle all these like timelines, but then it got more and more and more like
I just think Abby's part could have been tighter. Like
yeah,
it could have cleaned it up a
yeah,
bit.
yeah,
But again, I think part of the confusion is just the fact that like we don't know enough about Abby.
yeah,
Like I think I said this yesterday in your chat, but like with Ellie, it's very obvious where we are in her life because we played as her in the first game, or we played like we knew her in the first game. So you kind of have a sense of what's going on, and like you already knew what story they were trying to tell with the flashbacks.
yeah.
They're trying to tell the relationship between Joel and Ellie. With Abby, it's like you know nothing. So that's why I think they could have tightened it up. Um, and I don't know if I think obviously the reason you played as Abby when she was a lot younger, 4 years earlier, is just to show that like show who she was,
Mm-hmm.
like her relationship to Joel, which was the her dad got murdered by him.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I would say that they didn't need to do as much as they did. I think.
Um, yeah, Francis, do you have any issues or any input on the backtracking segment, like the whole timeline
Yeah,
thing?
I felt the same about it. It was like it was mostly the happy part. It was yeah, that was like where it kind of started to drag for me. I was like, damn man, when this came over.
Yeah,
Like I didn't want it to end, but it was just like, geez, man, shiz, I'm everywhere right now. Like,
yeah.
why am I here? But it was good. I think it was necessary, but yeah, like Kendall said, it was need to be cleaned
Little,
up a little bit more.
yeah,
But it was necessary though to do those time jumps because yeah, we just didn't know. We didn't have enough information about Abby.
yeah,
Um, and to like really see her in like that light of she's a human. Because if we didn't show her as a kid and all that stuff, and all those flashbacks of her actually feeling, like love for Owen and stuff like that, we'd just be like, "Who the fuck is this person?"
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. Um, but yeah, it was long. That's why I felt like it was just freaking two games in one.
Yeah. I like to go on that part where it definitely felt because there was a rumor when before this game came out. They said this game might be the first PS4 game that has two disc
Yeah.
and a split story or something like that. And I guess they just compacted into one, and it definitely felt they put two games in one Blu-ray disc. And
Yeah.
yeah, you could have like split like I'm not sure if how you guys would want it. Would you guys want it like this way, the way it's told? Just clean up, I guess just clean up Abby's part a little tighter, or would you guys want like some Resident Evil type of decision where you can play Leon's story and then you can go to the main menu, play as Claire's story, and then they'll just meet up at the end, and then you know um yeah
Mm.
um I don't know. A lot of the whole these like there's a lot of games I played that had like they have like these two characters that you try to blend with to make a really good storytelling, and I think that one jumps out as me is like obviously the Resident Evil, but um Halo 2, I don't know why,
Oh
but
yeah.
Halo 2 yeah, play as Master Chief and then you play as Arbiter. When I was a kid, I didn't want to play as Arbiter. I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't want to play as Arbiter, but you get to see why or feel for Arbiter when he was being exiled, and going through all that shit, and you see the character development, and then I guess near the end, you guys meet up, and it's sort of similar, but
Hmm.
but obviously Last of Us is more emotional than Halo. Um, um, and the way they told the story, in I guess the structure they told the story, compared to Last of Us One, was basically a journey, and this is where I prefer the journey part. It's not a negative, because I understand in The Last of Us Two, um, the way they told the story with timelines, it was necessary, but with
Yeah.
Last of Us One, it was a journey. You got to go point A, point B. You got to smuggle this kid, and along the way, you feel for this kid, and you feel for these two characters, and that's why Last of Us One was like one of the best games of last generation. And this game, there is not really. I was expecting a journey like that, because that's what Naughty Dog's good with Uncharted games and the first Last of Us. You go point A to point B, because I thought we're from Jackson, we're gonna fight our way towards to Seattle, and then find Abby. But the whole time we're in Seattle, and we're going through this whole huge dome, this huge dome of this, just staying in Seattle, which was really interesting. But I definitely prefer the point A to point B journey. Um, and I don't know. In my notes, I compare it to the last Airbender Avatar, like the first Avatar, where it's like Aang wanted to go somewhere point A to point B, and then Legend of Korra, there was this dome where you guys stayed in the city the whole time, and I guess Korra obviously, like, forgot what, I guess whatever season, she did the same thing like Ellie and I guess Abby. It's all about forgiveness and revenge. Not
Yeah.
sure if,
I
Kendall, you're
forgot
too.
about
I'm
Korra.
not sure how familiar with you with Avatar, but yeah, I just thought of Avatar because the whole story, the theme of it is all revenge and forgiveness. Um,
Yeah.
um,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Like I think my biggest takeaway from the game, and maybe how they told the stories of Abby and Ellie, is that like I think everyone operates in some like moral gray area,
Mm.
right? And like you're a good guy or a bad guy depending on who's looking at you.
Hmm.
Um and I don't know. This is I think everyone who plays this game needs to talk to someone about the game.
Yeah.
Like let it out, right? Like I just think that's the productive thing to do, because I feel like this game, have you ever like watched a TV series and like binged through it, and like you just feel like this, like, damn, it's all over feeling at the
Yeah.
end?
Yeah.
I feel like that's how this
And
game
then you
also
have
has
to
made me
talk it.
feel.
You talk. Yeah, you have to find someone that watched it. Like, dude, we
Yeah,
gotta
because
talk.
like
Yeah.
otherwise, like I have all these thoughts in my fucking head, and
Yeah.
like I don't know what to do with them. Um, I don't think we talked about the um the actual last cutscene with her and Joel, though, did we?
Oh, I forgot to
No,
touch
not
on
yet.
that.
Not
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
Because I was so glad that conversation
Yeah.
happened. Because like I said, I was really worried that other than no stop, whatever she said,
Yeah.
Get the fuck up.
get the fuck up, Joel.
Yeah.
Other than that, the last thing I thought that she said was, "I don't fucking need your help."
Hmm.
Same.
And dude, when I first saw that cutscene, though, like I was tearing up, like seeing Joel's face too, and
Yeah.
the emotion that was in his face when he was accepting that like Ellie might not ever forgive me,
Hmm.
and he
Yeah.
did.
And he.
I mean, he doubled down, right? He was like, "I would have done it again."
Yep.
And he was so confident in saying that, and like, you can see that even though Ellie's fucking pissed off at him, there's still a part of her that like she cares so much and loves Joel. Um, and it was really hard to watch that, and I don't know. I'm glad that they. I don't want to say make amends, because obviously there's still some rockiness between them, but like I'm glad that Ellie explained herself to him and he explained himself to her.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
And I
I
definitely
felt
like
like
how
they just
they.
didn't close that loop.
I definitely like how they both understood. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, when Joel said, like, felt like God gave him a second chance, and yeah, he didn't even have to mention Sarah, and Ellie knew right away why, and vice versa too. Like, why why Ellie deserved to have her life have a meaning to the world, I guess.
which I thought was heartbreaking too. the fact that she feels like she's just completely like valueless, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Like she doesn't mean anything to the world. She's insignificant. Um, that's really heartbreaking. And I don't know, like man, that last scene was. I'm glad they ended it on that scene. That was actually really good.
Yeah.
To kind of close all the loops. Like, I mean, are there a lot of unanswered questions? Like, if they ended this game, like the series, right here, I think I'd be okay.
Um,
Yeah.
I'd want more, right? It's like
yeah.
I'd always want more, but like, I think it's like the first game though too. Like, we didn't necessarily need a sequel.
Mhm.
Hold on, we'll get to. I have a big question, like the ultimate
Okay,
question. But
okay,
guys, do you have anything on the Joel and Ellie scene?
Yeah, I was super happy about that because I thought they ended it on like yeah she's playing guitar, three fingers, and just black. And I saw your stream and you thought it was you ended it there too.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
right when Joel popped up, you like what zoom back into your screen. Um, but yeah, I was like that too. I was like, no fucking way you end it there. And then yeah, and then they showed that part. I was like, all right, that literally tied the whole thing together. It literally if they didn't have that scene, I think the story, I don't know, it would leave a bad taste in my mouth.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It drove
But
home the theme of like forgiveness.
yeah, and just like a chance because she and I think that's what also drove. Uh, I mean, that's literally probably that was a stem for Ellie of what drove her to rage that hard because like Joel took the opportunity of for Ellie to like save the world type of deal, but Abby took the chance for Ellie to like reconnect with her
Yeah,
best friend.
yeah,
So it was just really sad to see that was what stemmed all of it.
yeah.
But it was beautiful though. That's like it's a sad like this whole what people don't understand about this game and the story of the game. It's a tragedy, and a lot of people don't want to go through that feeling of tragedy. It's not supposed to be happy. It's a tragic story. So
I
it's
think it's the
it's
same way that like people, when people are like, get the politics out of my sports, like
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
use that to escape and stuff. I think people use video games to escape, which is it like is fine. Like in a vacuum, that's totally fine. And yeah, I get away from things by playing video games, but like I don't think that means that we can escape like certain emotions or like
Mm.
certain things in the games, right? Like I don't know if you don't like. I guess if you're not ready for that, play another game. Like I
Yeah.
when I put the game down, I was like, I'm gonna play MLB the Show. There's no sad things. I'm just gonna hit home runs.
Only that
But
RBI.
but it's like I said, this game was an experience, and I don't know how many games I could say that about.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Wonder, what was your question,
Hold on,
bro?
I'm gonna save that
Oh,
question last, but I have another question. Because you mentioned if there was a part three, or well, I guess there is already plans for part three.
I think there's gonna be four.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
well,
because the first on one of the first like beginning before you get to Joel's death, you're just kind of roaming around in the snow with Dina and Ellie.
mm-hmm.
They had a conversation about oh, it's also what kind of ties into the stem of like Ellie kind of trying to reconnect because it was Ellie or Dina asked Ellie like, so what are you gonna do tonight? And Ellie's like, oh, I might invite Joel to watch a movie tonight. So it was like she had plans to like, start it up again type of deal.
Oh,
Um, and then they talked about a movie, and it was like an '80s movie, like an '80s action movie that they love to like something they bonded over. And apparently, so Dina asked like, how many movies are there of that movie? And she said there's four of them. So and
um,
like the story of that movie is like very close to the relationship between Ellie and Joel. It's like
okay.
so
interesting.
it was like they're hinting toward four parts.
That would, holy shit.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like Jesus Christ.
um,
It's like Uncharted.
um, I want to ask where, like, where do you see with DLC with this? Because You mentioned earlier that there was an expansion DLC. It might be the Lev aping the whole Scar Island. Um, it
Male
it.
DLC. Oh,
Pregnancy simulator. Oh man,
No,
they'd
you
make
have
it
to
so
make the
detailed though.
baby. You have
you
to
had to
make
make the
JJ.
baby.
Oh no.
Um,
Oh no. That'd be tight. Parent
y-
simulator.
it's QTEs. Um, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people forgot. I think the expansion, because I'm pretty sure they're gonna do expansion like the Uncharted Lost Legacy. Um, I think the standalone expansion might be Tommy because we tried to track Tommy for a while and then he ends up being found by Jesse, and I'm like wondering where the hell is Tommy this whole
Right.
time. So I have a feeling the expansion is gonna be, going through Tommy's shoes and what he was finding out, and yeah, I want to know more about Tommy. We didn't know enough. Um, but yeah, for
He had more
part,
fun, dude. He had more fun on Seattle Day One than Ellie and Dina did because he killed like a bunch of people.
yeah, that's right. Um, yeah, and then I, yeah, honestly, I don't know where I could see this game going forward. I don't know. I'm not sure if you guys have any other theories or future DLCs
I
or something.
or DLC, I don't know, but yeah, my prediction for three is like I don't know, Ellie tracking down fireflies and then maybe running into Abby and Lev because Abby and Lev are trying to find fireflies. Um, but I don't know. I kind of hope they don't go that route, but I could see it maybe because Ellie wants to make her life like worth something.
Yeah, people talked about number three maybe being about Abby trying to find Ellie to like make the cure.
Mm,
Oh, okay. I never thought of that. Okay.
Which I think people would be upset if you had to play as Abby as the main character.
I
Oh.
think so
I
too.
don't care. I would play as Abby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The thing there though is that like I think Ellie's totally willing to make herself the cure. Right? Like
Yeah,
Ellie's
there's
ready.
nothing.
I think Ellie would go ahead and sacrifice herself. But I don't know. I think it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I think again, I didn't really know where they could have taken this the like Last of Us 2 after Last of Us 1,
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
right? I think they could all be their own self-contained stories. But I don't know. I do think DLC probably won't advance the story much cuz the was it Left Behind? Was that the
Yeah.
DLC?
Yeah, that was a
Like
prequel.
that one was just like yeah, like backstory, right?
Yeah.
So, um I don't know. I think it would be cool to be like Lev based. Um rather than Ellie based. Like, what else is there to tell about Ellie?
That you don't already know.
Instead of future things,
Yeah.
right? Like, um, also just want to point out. Apparently, when you go to Joel's house and you don't, maybe you see it, but you don't care about it on the first playthrough. But like, he has a book open about space,
Oh, really?
It's
which
open.
is like he was reading a book about space because Ellie loved space so much.
Oh. Oh no.
It was like
Like,
Space for Dummies, right?
Oh no.
I think so, maybe.
Yeah,
Oh, you saw it,
yeah, it was Space for Dummies, and I was
but like
like,
it
dang,
means so much more when you
yeah,
He's trying
yeah.
to.
I'm
Yeah,
trying
if
to
I were you
learn.
guys when you on your second playthroughs, then like I would just try and look at every single detail and maybe see all the things that like
Yeah.
they were hinting at. But I don't know. I don't know where a new game could like scars, fireflies. Um, is Abby gonna get her muscles
Atoms.
back? That's what I want to know. She was
uh,
so skinny.
I know. He probably doesn't have the time, so she just get juiced.
Yeah. Um, so
Um.
this is what I was saying. When I skipped ahead and like pretty much just watched cutscenes to get to the end, I got to the end and I was like, who the fuck is that? So I had to backtrack. I was like, did I miss something? I was like, oh, it's Abby. Huh.
um. Now the ultimate question. Talking about like future like expansions or potential sequels or um yeah, the ultimate question is, was this game necessary? Because when I played the first one, and I'm pretty sure Francis had the same feeling when we played the first one's first playthrough, the game was just near flawless perfect. Like there's no sequel necessary. because it just left the player's imagination run wild. Let you can just you can make your own story, whatever you can think of. And yeah, when they made part two, I was a little concerned. I'm like, no, I think it didn't need a sequel. It's unnecessary. But now playing it, I don't know. Did you guys, now that you guys know the story, do you think this game was necessary?
Um,
Like, you think it could have been done without it still, or well, I guess
I
this is
think
a nice
I'm
touch.
okay. I think I have two answers. If they never made the game, I would have been okay.
Uh huh.
Mhm.
But after playing the game and watching you play the game, I understood why they called it part two. And it's because I think the world needed to see the consequence of what Joel did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right? Because that was the big unanswered question that everyone was wondering about, right? At the end of number one was like, did Ellie really believe what he said?
Mhm.
Um, and I think this game filled in those gaps. And I think I won't say whether or not this game's better than the first one, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think that totally depends on who's rating it. But um, I I don't think it was a mistake to make a second one. I think they did just fine. And um, so again, if they never made a number two, I never got to play number two, it would have been okay. But I think the fact that they did make one, and in my opinion, it 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 did the series justice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hit like all the marks that needed to be explained. Because Ellie was just left with nothing except Joel's word. So obviously that was gonna push her to like the edge of like I need to find out for myself.
Yeah,
So it was like a story like that in itself is worth showing. But at first, yeah, I was like, dude, they ended off perfectly. Like just leave it up to the imagination. But this game kind of proved me wrong. I'm like, yeah, I guess it was um like meant or it was needed. It
Mm-hmm.
was it was much needed to extend the story and a lot of stuff that we didn't get answered.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think I feel the same way about a potential number three though
Mm.
that I felt at the end of number one,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
like they could stop the series right here
Hmm.
and I'd be okay, and like I will just imagine in my head where Ellie goes next or what happens. Um, but if they do want to make a number three, again, I'm a bit more nervous just because I think there was a clear big question at the end of one.
Mm.
This one, like, there's multiple ways I think they could go. So we'll see. But yeah, if you were to ask me if this game was necessary after watching you play it, after playing some of it myself, I think yes.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I think that wraps things up. I think just you know just doing a final thoughts. So a quick overview of what we talked about. So my verdict, basically, so presentation, obviously best looking game I've ever seen. Gameplay wise, I thought it was fine. Maybe the AI was a lot of people like you guys saying that AI was bad. May have to replay it again, but yeah, I can see why it was bad. Sometimes I had encounters where they were pretty smart. Especially the scars characters. Like I never doubted Naughty Dog's characters, the way they portray them.
Yeah.
Story wise, for me at least, the only negative that I can give this overall game was just for me to juggle the timeline backtracking and everything else. Just nitpicky, but it didn't ruin the game. But story wise, like I love the story. Every minute of the game, I enjoyed. Little dragging with Abby in the day three, but I wasn't bored. It was fun. Everything about it was just like roller coaster ride, like an up and down roller coaster ride, of like a lot of emotions and sweat and tense and violence, speed and momentum, and yeah, I think. I don't know. For me, if I had to give this a score, like I gave Last of Us One like a perfect 10 because it's there's no problems with it. I can't find a damn flaw about it. But this game, the only flaw I can think of is just the backtracking timeline.
30-hour game.
I kind of like ate my words on that one like because I said I wanted this like after the Ellie part playthrough at Ellie, I said I don't want this game to stop. This game is awesome because I played single player games where like I feel like I'm near the end and I'm like, oh no, the ride's over. And then we went to Abby. I'm like, holy shit, this game keeps on going. I'm like, all right, this is awesome, awesome. And then when you hit the day 3, I'm like, oh, it was a little dragging, but it's still cool. Um, but yeah, the only flaw was the backtracking. If I had to give this a score, it would be like a 9.5 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10 for me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost perfect, but there's something, there's little things that for me it bothers me, but it didn't ruin the experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the big thing to focus on is like again, the people giving it 0s out of 10s. I'm like I don't see how with the gameplay and the environment, right? Like all the other different categories aside from the story. There's no way a story that you didn't like could really take a score down that much. And
Yeah.
like this game is not what's one of the worst games ever?
Knack.
Batman Arkham Knight, Batmobiles.
Yeah, Batmobile. Fuck. Oh, yeah, fuck that game.
Remember Nick? Shout out to WAP.
Oh yeah, because he played the whole level without getting into the
Batmobile when you're supposed to use the Batmobile for this one puzzle
to shoot everyone. Yeah, and he got out and did the whole thing on foot, and he played it for like 3 hours.
Man.
He asked me about it. I was like, dude, you're supposed to just be in a tank. What are you doing? Yeah, there's turrets and everything. I'm so impressed. That is the greatest video game achievement of all time. I think nothing's touching that. But I was gonna say, but for sure, there's like really bad games out there. And to say that, Monsters Inc. The Scream Ball, whatever it was.
What?
You ever played that one on GameCube? No. It was a Monsters Inc. dodgeball game.
Oh, I gotta play this, dude. I gotta put this on stream, dude. I gotta find this on like a retro game store or something.
I rented that one. But like to say that this game is like one of the worst games ever, that is blasphemy.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
You could have your complaints about it, but there's no way. And I don't know. I'm kind of like I won't give it a score because I think scores are all like no one ever knows what scale people are using.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way to like normalize a scale, right? Like 2 9.5s could actually mean different things. So I don't know. I would love to see like the video game review websites, especially like Metacritic. Like Jesus Christ, there's like 75,000 reviews for the game already.
Jesus.
Yeah.
For the users, but like I'd love to see them like focus more on what people say about the game rather than the actual numbers. But I will say this is, in my opinion, one of the greatest games
this year or generation. How far are we going?
I don't want to use all time. All time seems like just like really drastic. But I think both games, I will say both games, or like series wise, I think this has to be this is going to be remembered as one of the best video game series ever. Like I truly do believe that, because I think this game is something that people want to appreciate for a while. It kind of reminds me of like The Last Jedi, like the reaction to it, where like you might feel differently. Maybe you have the opposite, but like I didn't love Last Jedi at first, and then I thought about it more, and I was like, I kind of like that they did non-traditional Star Warsy stuff. I think I realized how much I liked it when I watched Rise of Skywalker.
Oh god.
When I watched that, and I was like, why are we just undoing everything that we did in the last one? But no, to me this has got to be one of the greatest games of at the very least this generation.
Or you just wrap up anything.
It's tough to give it a score. I think for me, it's more of a feeling, I guess.
Yeah.
Also taking account of like, there's things I'm nitpicking at it. And yeah, like the pacing of the story wasn't the best compared to number one, but I don't think uh I'm not trying to like dock it for that because they're two different stories. So it's like the way that you have to tell it. I feel like this is the only way they could have told it. Because if they went full on linear, this game would have been like way longer, maybe like 50 hours.
Yeah,
Because like if they went full on linear, they get to start out from Ellie's beginning, like right after Joel lied to her, and then going from there, getting to know Jesse and Dina as kids, and then doing all this shit. It would just take forever. So
yeah,
the backtracking to me felt necessary, but yeah, it's just not the most ideal way to do it. But I
yeah,
can't dock them for that. Um, so I think they did it as smoothly as possible as they could have done it. But some areas could have been cleaned up. But it's not too crazy.
yeah,
But the things it's yeah, see the things I'm nitpicking is more like things I wished was there. So I don't know if I can even dock it for that. But yeah, the it's more of a feeling. So to me, I'm comparing it and grading it compared to the first one. So I'm giving it like a 9 to 9.5. Probably I don't know. Right now I'm at a 9. At a 9 out of 10, and then Last of Us 1 is perfect, so it's 10 out of 10. So I'm just docking it 1 because it's close, but there's something about it. There's just something about it. It's like it's not perfect. But it could just mean I have to play the game again or something to really like go into depth of like maybe it is a 10 out of 10. Maybe that story is actually like
It's a lot to take in
yeah,
because
there
there's
was just too much.
yeah.
I almost think that if this game wasn't a sequel, right? Like,
Mm,
let's say you had all the context of the first game
mm,
Uh-huh.
as like as some sort of backstory. I almost feel like the fact that this game is a sequel to a perfect game,
mm,
kind of hurts it in that regard because it's kind
yeah.
of hard to separate them in your head when you're scoring them, right?
Yeah, definitely. They didn't really ask us. It'll be like a fun question before we end the video. What were your favorite moments? Um,
When Mel dies. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I was joking. It's fucked up.
there's a lot of great moments because like I can like honestly give you like a minute rundown of um you know chronologic order of the first game. I can't give you a chronologic order for the second game because of backtracking, but there's a lot of good scenes from both Ellie and Abby, like Abby climbing the that huge bridge thing in the
Oh
mist.
yeah, yeah.
That one's good. The whole fucking clickers coming out of the wall scared the shit out of me. It was like some Stranger Things. Um Ellie
The
in that one area where you can the way you attack the enemies where you can swim underwater and shit and like
mm,
be I don't know, be Aquaman. I don't know. But yeah, it has a lot of great scenes.
the fact that like Abby is scared of heights, and when you look down,
Yeah.
like
Like
it
it
fucks
zooms
up
out.
your yeah. That's a dope detail. I just appreciated all the little details in the game. I think, um, and I'm trying to think that sniper level looked really. I didn't get to play, but that one looked really cool.
Oh, yeah,
The one with
Because
Tommy?
another Metal Gear type of thing.
because like the fact that like I could tell that you were scared to move
Hmm.
when I was watching you. I was like, man, he's really thinking about where he's gonna go here.
Yeah.
And then when you were like, "Can I go into this car?"
Yeah.
Um,
That was really cool.
Can't really remember like all of them. They're all kind of jumbled up, but yeah, thinking back, that Tommy one was dope. I wish we had more Jesse like interactions though.
yeah,
Like, didn't really get to know that dude
You don't need
very
to
well.
know that guy. That guy will leave you.
I hated when like we left Dina, and I was like, I gotta do this alone. I was like, I don't want
Yeah.
to, because you're so used to having like someone by your side from the
Yeah.
first game. I was like, no, I don't want to do this alone. I'm getting so scared.
Oh yeah, obviously the scar part. That's probably like my
Oh,
number one moment because
that shit was great.
yeah, just yeah, I don't know. It's like I again another Halo comparison. That is like finding out the flood for the first time. Like running to the flood. That one, I don't know. like that. It's that type of fear. I'm like, oh no, I don't want to face these guys.
Oh yeah.
Also, stalkers. Yeah, those
Oh, fuck those
Jesus.
dudes.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, you can't sense them with your X-ray vision. No, no.
I just want everyone to like actually watch at least at very least watch someone play the game. If you can play through it yourself, it might be too much for you. Like it was too much for me. Like I just couldn't do it, and I think it's because like I mean I don't play single player games a lot, um, and I knew how long the game was gonna be before I went in.
Mm-hmm.
Like I looked that up because I
Oh
was like I have to
shit.
plan. I was like I have to plan my like my work life around
Mm.
playing this. And I was like, there's no way I'm gonna get through this. So that's why I watched it. But I don't know. Everyone should just, in my opinion, play the game, at least watch someone, and then talk about it. Because I think that's how you actually start to understand how you feel about the game. Otherwise, you just end
Sure.
up with like knee jerk reactions to like, they fucking killed Joel. This game's the worst game ever. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely helped talking about it for me at least because I didn't know really how to feel till just now, like after talking about it, because I'm like, it was just too much. It was just so much to process, like what happened. I'm
yeah,
still kind of processing it, but at least like my thoughts are a lot more clearer than before because I was just left with a bunch of just sadness. Like wow. So Ellie's messed up. And that's the main character. All right. All right. What's number 3 gonna be about? Her just dying. But that's just, yeah, it's good to know that just that people are at least talking about it, or hopefully people are talking about it. I don't know if they are. Seems like it's more like just bagging on it. Um,
yeah.
but yeah,
What if
hopefully
in
people
number
understand
three,
it.
what if in number three you play as JJ and Lev kills Dina and Ellie in front of you?
Oh my.
Wait,
Cycle of revenge again.
wait. You have to go through as a toddler, or
Yeah. No, you're a toddler. You're crawling around.
oh man, there's no
Oh damn right.
diapers. You gotta use leaves, and it's like
Imagine,
mini Rambo.
imagine how do you kill the people? You just poop. You distract them.
And there's
Like
there's gonna be a timeline jumps where like you're adult JJ and then going back to baby JJ and
you're in Dina's stomach
oh no.
when she
They
get
call.
when she gets shot by Lev's arrow.
Oh,
You have to
Oh
move.
man.
You have to move out of the way. Like,
oh man.
no, I don't know. There's a lot of ways they could go with number three. So, uh, this was definitely to me though. Like, it was a good game, and like I said, I'm open to seeing valid criticisms of it. But most of the things I see are just like whiny people in the gaming community.
Yeah. I think that wrapped things up for The Last of Us Part 2. The WonderFULL review. I think that's it, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll just give a little shine for Kendall and Francis to put their plugins in.
Oh yeah. You guys probably already know, but follow me or us, me and my co-host Alfred, on the Winning Rotation podcast. It's winning_rotation on Instagram. Wonderbread has been on 3. There's a 4th episode that's lost, but he was just on an episode where we talked about fighting game characters, and it was really good. Shout out Baraka. Um, but yeah, listen to that. But I'll probably pop in and out of the Twitch, depending on the game you're playing. So you might catch me in there.
Oh, and yeah, just follow me at Medna Raps. MEDNA Raps at Twitter and Instagram and all that. Or you can just go to my website, mednaraps.com. But yeah, I got music if you want, like, I guess, depressing music right now. If you're looking for some real depressing stuff, play Last of Us and listen to Medna. So, yeah.
I'll leave the links below to follow these guys. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time for the next review. Peace out.
Peace.